Hey guys, what is up everybody and welcome to a new video. In this video we're gonna talk about things which I probably would change on Yamaha Tracer 7 or things which I think Yamaha should improve on Tracer 7. So frankly speaking, I usually prefer to put quite a bit of miles on the bike before I actually can talk about it, before I can tell you what things I don't like, because it's much easier to like certain things about motorcycle, but it's really hard to criticize it, because when you criticize it, you have to be sure that what you're criticizing it for is actually making sense, right? I want to be transparent with you. I want to be as much realistic as possible to help you with your further decisions. If you guys looking for a new motorcycle, or if you're just curious about the bikes and want to know more information, because some of the motorcycles which I'm reviewing or which I'm testing or riding, they're not available everywhere in the world, and it can be also sort of educational part for some of you watching it out there. So I spent quite a bit of time on this bike, and I put more than 1200 kilometers on this motorcycle before I can actually give you this feedback. And I was riding this bike in wet conditions, dry conditions, in colder weathers, warm weathers, long distance, short distance, highways, serpentines, twisties, and whatsoever, like all possible scenarios where you can use this motorcycle or potentially could use this motorcycle. I also was riding this motorcycle back to back with other bikes, such as the Yamaha Tracer 9 or Tiger 660, because Tracer 9 is a, let's say, bigger version of this bike, more sophisticated version of this bike, and Tiger 660 is direct competition to this motorcycle. It's really hard to understand the bike in isolation, but some of the things much more visible when you're able to compare it to back, right? Same day. You ride this bike, you jump onto the other bike, you ride that bike, same roads, same conditions, same weather, and you understand, okay, that's where they are different. And frankly speaking, it was really hard for me to make a list of disadvantages or weak spots of this motorcycle, because honestly speaking, if you understand what this bike is built for, there is nothing to criticize it for, right? I will share with you my opinion of the things which Yamaha potentially should improve in this motorcycle, or where they are missing out. And let me start first from electronics of this motorcycle. And when I'm talking about electronics, I'm not talking about entertainment or infotainment system. I'm talking about safety, right? In some fashion, it is like crow machine. So this bike is how they were built like 10 years ago, before we get into this era of modern motorcycles with plenty of electronics on board. In my previous video, I told you that it's probably one of the good things about this bike, and I will stand with what I said before, because for some people it's actually a good thing not to have electronics, because that's where you can improve your skills, that's where you can get to know motorcycle better, that's where you can be realistic with what you can do and what you can do. But same time, for certain number of users or riders, that can be a disadvantage, because in today's world, like, safety is improving like on among the market. This bike is in some fashions like brutal machine, because it has CP2 engine, the same engine which used in MT-07, which has been known as a stunt machine, right? It's also been used in T7, and T7 is one of the most raw adventure motorcycles which you have in today's market. And putting same engine into this sort of touring machine, Yamaha should be doing a little bit better job, because this is a touring machine. This is like bike which is focused on comfort, long distance touring, and in my opinion, it should come with certain level of electronic support, right? I've been riding this bike on a serpentine, and when I go through the hairpins, right, I was like, I feel that I'm losing the rear tire, right? It's like it's just sleeping underneath me. In most of the cases, if you have motorcycle with electronics, in this situation it wouldn't be an issue. Next thing which is also related to that is brakes. Yamaha improved the overall setup of the front last year. So they improved brake setup, they improved fork setup, and I will tell you that in normal conditions when you ride this bike, in the dry conditions, those brakes perform just really good. I would say that they probably even better than Yamaha Tracer 9, which is surprising to me. The fork is also performing really well. It's not diving. Even if you brake hard, it doesn't have this dive, which most of the motorcycles do have. And I was like surprised when I got myself in a situation when ABS kicked off. So you literally cannot stop. That's what happens. If you have plenty of distance, what you're gonna do, you're gonna release your brake and you're gonna brake again, but not that hard. You just like try to do it gradually, right? Such a good brakes, such a good improvement on the front, but you lose it because ABS setup is not perfect, or maybe it's just wrong setup. I don't know what's happening there, but that is the situation. And I got myself in this situation a couple of times. I don't know what is there. I will probably talk to the dealership and I will ask them if there is a known issue, or I don't know, maybe just my specific situation. But you know, that is what happened. And for me, it's a little bit of disappointment. So next thing which we're going to talk about is multimedia or infotainment system, right? When you look at promo materials of this motorcycle, and especially when you look at the price and you compare it to competition now in 2024, you will see that Tracer 7 is one of the most expensive bikes among the competition. Triumph, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, they all have lower price. Connectivity comes as a standard with this motorcycle. And you're like, okay, at least there is a little bit of technology, right? So it's cool. I don't need to invest more into additional hardware. But then you get it, and then you're connect your phone to it, and then you see that this connectivity, it allows you to record your trips. So you can record your route, you can record all other parameters of the motorcycle, such as acceleration, braking. I would say maybe 99% of the people, they not really need this information. You don't really need how far you lean your motorcycle, how hard you're braking. You probably need to have your calls, messages, and navigation there, right? And that's what I would say would be really nice addition to this motorcycle, because now you can only see phone calls, messages, notifications, and that's pretty much it. If we talk about functionality, I don't need it. To be honest, I don't need it. I mean, I might need music. Maybe I can choose a podcast when I'm riding. And of course, I need map. And I would say that for me, it's surprising again, because it is exactly same size of the TFT Dash, which they have on new Yamaha MT-09 from 2024. And on that dash is actually well organized, because you can put your technical data there, like speed, RPMs, fuel level, and whatsoever. But you can also put your maps there, navigation. So, you know, some part of the screen able to display navigation. And that is what I actually expect from connectivity. And considering that Tracer 7 is aiming to be a touring machine, that's how Yamaha positioning this motorcycle. They don't position it as a commuter, or they don't position it as a city bike. They actually focusing on traveling. So that is sort of disappointment. I would mention this joystick or the scroll wheel. I mentioned it before. And same situation with Tracer 9. It is here on the right hand, and it's already loaded with a lot of tasks such as acceleration, braking, and this bike doesn't have any cruise control. Why not to put it on the left? Because when you're on highway, instead of like doing everything with the right hand, you can actually move some of the functions to the left, and you can, I don't know, you want to answer the calls, you can do it with the left thumb. It's sort of just, you know, practical point of view. For some reason, Yamaha continue to integrate this type of control device or control joystick to motorcycles from the last year. So I thought they will stop with Tracer 9, but then they put it onto MT-07, they put it onto Tracer 7, and they put it on T7. Like all of them inherited this type of control element. Next thing which I'm gonna mention and it might not be critical to many people, but these handguards, I don't like them here, right? From the design standpoint, it looks quite nice. So if you look at the motorcycle from the front, they working pretty well, so they kind of deflect the air. But if you drop the bike, and that happens quite often, you know, like it's not even if you're getting into the accident, it's just like if you're sometimes you can be stand still, right, and you can drop the bike, this thing will go first, right? It is plastic, it is fragile, and it's not protected anyhow, which is sort of, you know, like small mistake will cause you a lot of trouble, in my opinion. I actually prefer to install like proper handguards because you have integrated turn signals here. You cannot just remove this like plastic handguards and, you know, put something like Blockbuster or I don't know, SW Motec. In some fashion you stuck with it, but you also if it breaks, you screwed, you know, and that's what I don't like. It is small things, but it can be sort of intimidating in case you need to replace it. Now let's move towards the comfort side of the motorcycle. So first of all, this windshield, completely useless to me. If you're below 175, it might work, but in my situation, for tall people, I'm pretty much sure it's not gonna make any difference. And more than that, it creates a lot of buffeting. It's just not comfortable. Like if you buy this bike, just consider investing another like 100 euros upgrading this windshield, and also consider maybe buying GT version of this motorcycle, because it's not only comes with upgraded windshield but also with a comfort seat, which is on regular version can be a little bit tricky. So I have no complaints about comfort of this saddle. It is really good. It's like wide and supportive. It has like lower back support as well. But for taller riders like me, the situation which you're facing here is that you usually want to have a little bit of room here, right? So you're, especially on the longer trips, you want to like move quite a bit. So you want to have the seat as flat as possible, because you can stretch your hands, you can stretch your legs, you can sort of like make yourself comfortable by just, you know, moving back and forth. But here, because you have this sort of support, you kind of like locked between this part of the seat and fuel tank. Probably shorter people would not notice this as a discomfort thing, or would not really consider it as a disadvantage of this motorcycle. But for me, I would probably go with a comfort seat because it is a little bit more flat, right? So just think about it, guys, if you're someone taller than 175. And one more thing which we're gonna talk about, and I know that some people ask me about this, vibrations. It is twin, so you gotta have vibrations, right? For me personally, there are two types of vibrations which you can have on a motorcycle. The first type is sort of painful vibrations. So those are vibrations which somehow influence your body. So what I mean by that, you know, sometimes you ride motorcycle for 2-3 hours, and then after 2-3 hours you have pain in your shoulders, or you have headache, or your fingertips are electrified, you know, especially on the triple engines. I noticed that you know, spending like 4 hours on the highway, you then touch something and it's like buzzing, you know, so it's like electrified. So you need another 1 hour or maybe, you know, hour and a half to let it go before it gets back to normal. Those are like painful vibrations, right? Those which last longer than you ride a motorcycle. So with the Tracer 7, when you rev this motorcycle above 7k or like 6k, it start vibrate like a tractor, you know. So you have it. I'm not gonna say there is no vibrations. You know, it's not comfortable, especially if you do long distance. If you're going through the twisties, you want to play with the bike a little bit, you want to spin it a little bit, you want to give it a little bit more revs, right? So it makes it fun. You feel vibration, you have connection with the motorcycle, and you're enjoying it. The good thing, on the other hand, the good thing about these vibrations is that they not last longer than you ride a motorcycle. So once you're off the motorcycle, there is no after party, right? So there is no any long-lasting effect of those vibrations, which is also good. So just for you to know, there are some vibrations, but they're not that bad as they might be. Whom this bike is for, right? Because that's probably important question to answer. And I would say that, you know, it's sort of tricky. I probably would not suggest this motorcycle to newer riders. I think if you just get into the motorcycles, don't get the Tracer 7. Get maybe Tiger 660 or maybe Honda NC 750 or Kawasaki Versus. Those bikes will be a little bit more safer for you rather than Tracer 7. That is purely my opinion. Of course, some people can be fine with this motorcycle. For instance, myself, when I started to ride motorcycles and I got like 600cc bike, back in the days there is zero electronics, there is no ABS even, you know, so like ABS back then was like new feature. But in today's world, when we have all these modern technologies and we have all the safety features, I would say that if you're a new rider and you want to get into safe riding and you want to tour and you want to travel, probably one of their competitors will be better bikes to choose from. On the other hand, if you're someone who is upgrading from your current motorcycle, maybe even the same segment but older motorcycles, and you want something new and you already have some experience riding the bike, or you want to put some miles onto this bike, probably Tracer 7 will be really nice machine to ride. Or if you're someone who is downsizing from a bigger bikes, let's say you already tried everything, you're maybe somewhere like 60s, 70s, and you probably want to like just smaller, lightweight motorcycle which gonna do the job for you, and that can be also an option for you because it is actually easy. It's just like easy to operate. It's just like easy bike to handle. It is easy to ride. It is like pretty much simple, zero electronics. I think a lot of reliability, typical for Yamaha. And to be honest, like when you look at this bike, I mean, this is the tool to do the job. Like if you wanna munch the miles, pack the bike with everything you need and go. And it will just go and go. It's like unstoppable, I would say, in some fashion. Super easy to use, like everything you need is there, but not more than what you need, right? That is where I see this bike. So in general, probably this is a motorcycle which targeting experienced users. Doesn't matter whether you have 2 years of experience or 20 years of experience, this bike will be a really good tool for you if you want to travel. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, I am working on a big video, like long video, where I'm going to compare Tracer 7 and Tiger 660. It's sort of like long-term comparison between those two bikes with all the advantages, disadvantages for either of those. And that video is going to be interesting. So if you're curious to see that video, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next one. Cheers.